And it's so good to be back with you. And we are talking today about how to handle the holidays when you're dealing with MCAS. We're going to talk about Thanksgiving. We're going to talk about um, Christmas, if it's Jewish holidays, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. How do you handle both when you have sensitivities and you know going to some kind of family event is likely to cause reactions? How what can you do beforehand to help prevent those kinds of situations? How do you have these conversations with your family, with your friends? And we're actually going to bring on Christina from our team, who's having a recent experience of this with her own family. We're going to talk about how she can navigate this. And hopefully, it's going to give you guys some ideas for how you can navigate as well. And so, while we're waiting for people to come on, I'll just run through our disclaimers real quick. And if you can say hi in the comments, let us know that you're here. That's great. I always love to see who's on with us. But this is, of course, for educational, informational purposes. We're not here to treat, cure, diagnose, or prevent any illness, disease, or disorder. So do work with your healthcare provider. And you may see some affiliate links if you see those. Full transparency. I love full transparency. Mast Cell 360 may make a small commission, and it goes towards all these free resources we put out for you guys. So I'm going to bring on Christina here. And hi, Christina.
Hi, Beth. Delighted to be with you and this entire community today. Hi, everyone out there watching live on Facebook and YouTube.
Well, I'm so grateful that you joined us in kind of last minute. I know I put you on the spot here to share, but you were telling me about this story before we came on. I said, Christina, this is so important. Can we talk about this with the community? And so while we're talking, I would love to hear from you guys in the comments. Have you ever gotten a gift at the holidays that made you feel ill? Or that have you ever had an experience where you're going to a family event and you knew you were going to get triggered? And that'll kind of help us guide where to go. I had a lot of those experiences, both family members' homes that had mold, scented candles, getting gifts that as soon as I opened the box, the fragrance hit me like, oh my gosh, I thought I was going to pass out. And I found some ways to help mitigate that, and so that we don't have those experiences. Because my family also would either not understand, my friends would either not understand, that was a problem itself, right? And then sometimes they they would just feel so terrible. And they wanted to do something nice and they wanted to help, but they had no idea what. So you guys that are joining, just say hi to us in the comments. Let us know where you're from. And we're talking today about navigating the holidays. So we got Thanksgiving coming up. If you're in Canada, I think you already had your Thanksgiving. We've got the Christmas holidays. There's still more Jewish holidays coming up. We've got New Year's Eve coming up. So how do we enjoy ourselves, get to be with our friends and family, and um, not have to isolate, not have to be sick? Because I get so many emails right after the end of the year, people who overindulged and got really sick, or they went ahead to that family event. They went ahead and ate those things they shouldn't have eaten. Sometimes it's the stuffing that had gluten. Sometimes it's, well, I went ahead and had a couple glasses of the wine they were serving, and then I was really sick. What do I do? So there's always things we can do, but the best thing is, well, what if we set ourselves up for success at the beginning? So, Christina, would you mind sharing your story you were telling me about? Because this is just such a common experience, and I'd love to hear your all stories too, if you can put them in the comments for us. And hi, Susan and Francis, it's good to see you.
Yeah, so to give a little bit of context of my own personal kind of health journey, I have had an allergy, a severe allergic reaction to nuts, basically my
Like
entire life.
peanuts, like almonds, macadamias, pecans, anything in that family, pistachios, hazelnuts, all of it.
Except for I'm good with coconut and peanuts. But
Interesting. Those peanuts are common allergen.
yes, I'm that person that when I went into the allergist and they did like a new set of testing with like the pecans, the cashews, the macadamia nuts, like my whole arm was swollen within seconds, and they had to like stop the test early because they were afraid it was going to cause greater issues.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely in that kind of really high reactive.
Yeah, that anaphylactic kinda gets dangerous.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So actually, right before really the pandemic began, I was dining out somewhere and they had cashew butter in ranch dressing at a restaurant. I didn't know. And well, my body knew. And so, to say the least, I got really sick. I was alone at the time. And thankfully, the restaurant was amazing about helping call 911 and got me in the ambulance. But I had a full 12-hour anaphylaxis episode. It was
Yeah.
the least life-threatening, terrifying, and is a big part of really my story. This was only in 2019. I'm grateful to have 30 plus years of no severe reactions in my life, but
Mm.
that was a big deal. And so it's partially why I'm back here in Michigan, closer to family, actually. And so as we're approaching the holiday season this year, this is like the first year that our family, who has some other health issues and things, we can actually be together because we're not super concerned about, pandemic things and all that fun stuff. So in this situation, we were talking about all getting together for Thanksgiving. I was very excited to do that with my
Yeah.
awesome new nephew who's 2.5, and
Yeah.
just do the holidays together with my sister-in-law's side of the family. And unfortunately, we found out some of their favorite family recipes have nuts in them. And
Mm.
so I'm sitting at dinner the other night with my brother and sister-in-law, as they like to call her, and we're chatting, and she's like, how would you feel like if they're warming up a pecan pie, or there's just almonds on top of green
You're like,
beans
"I'm
or
gonna
something?"
die."
And I was like, you know what? As much as I want to say that I'll be okay, I know I can sometimes be triggered through airborne allergies
Yeah.
in the realm of nuts. And if they're warming up a pie, like, it's game over for me. And I said, as much as I want to be there, I don't think it's worth my own stress and anxiety this season. So
No.
politely decline. I want to honor and support your family's invitation. Like,
Oh my
thank
god.
you, but I
Yeah.
just have to make the decision for what's best for me, and that's just gut-wrenching, and that's hard, and
It
I
is gut-wrenching, and here's the thing, like, 1, I just first wanna honor you for taking care of yourself like that. That's
thank you.
so hard, and loving yourself that way is
Mm,
just huge, and that's how we have to love ourselves is make those hard decisions.
yeah,
Then the other part of me, because I know you and, I just have a fondness for you, is I'm just like, "Really? If you were coming to my Thanksgiving, there would be no tree nuts. There would be none." Like, everybody would know, absolutely no tree nuts, and then I would check everything that came in the door. And
yeah.
maybe that comes from having and it's just, like, breaking my heart, but
Mhm.
that probably also comes from having my own, extreme sensitivities, and so I know what it's like to be in your shoes and then be because I've had experiences multiple times, Christina, of going to Thanksgiving. I remember the first couple ones. I told my mother what I could eat and, when things get busy or whatever, that's an excuse. There was nothing I could eat. I got there was literally nothing I could eat. And then I realized, you know what? I've had this 2 times in a row. I'm bringing my own food. I'm just
Right.
bringing my own food, and people can deal with it, and I just pull out my whole plate, like, "Here's my plate of food. I'm done. I'm ready to sit down. Sorry I didn't bring extra because
Right, I've done that.
or sometimes I'd bring, like, a side dish for everybody, and then I just make sure I brought my own plate with my, mm, protein frozen after slaughter, and blah, 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 and my gluten-free stuffing nobody else wanted to eat, and but that is gut wrenching, and I'm just wondering, you guys, y'all are really quiet today. I'm not sure if my comments are coming in correctly, but have you all had this experience, and how? Because right now we're talking about Thanksgiving, then we're going to go into gifts. But how did you navigate this, and what kind of advice would you give to Christina, who's it's sometimes nice to hear from other people too. What would you say? And especially when she's wanting to see her new nephew and we've had this whole pandemic, and so there's also a grief in our, chronic illness, and that it changes our lives, it takes us out of we're such social creatures, and it, um, makes us different in ways that a lot of times people don't understand, if they've not ever been sick like this.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do for the holidays?
So I am just so blessed in the sense that my brother and sister-in-law, my nephew, we're gonna get together another day with my parents as well and do something maybe non-food centric. So we
Nice.
will still have something together, which is awesome. And my parents actually said, we don't want you to spend Thanksgiving by yourself. So we're gonna opt out as well, which
Oh,
was
that's
just really
sweet.
kind of them.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna do something together. They love to just like order like a pre-made plate of Thanksgiving food. And so I was joking with them just the other night that I'll probably just make up my own dish and bring something over. I have definitely brought the salad bowl of like my own meal in a Tupperware container to Thanksgiving before. I've done that. So it'll be a bit of that as well. But the most important thing is that I'll still get time with family. And I think
Nice.
and not be isolated or alone, which I love that you highlighted that. You know,
Nice. Yeah.
sometimes we have to get over our own maybe fears of what others might think.
Yeah.
And that was a big challenge for me that maybe I didn't have the first half of my life, that I felt kind of almost like a shame around my food sensitivities or
So many of us do. I did. Yeah.
yeah, so that was a big thing for me to just finally like not care what they thought or not care that I didn't try their amazing dish or a lot of people don't even understand what certain sensitivities are. And so you can say, "Oh, I'm dairy intolerant or I'm gluten free or I'm this or that." And most people don't even know what that means, unfortunately. So there's still a level of education that comes along with even coming to someone's house to dine.
The did you say to dine or to die?
Oh, no, hopefully not the second, to dine,
Yeah.
D-I-N-E. To enjoy.
So, well, and I think the moral of the story is always take care of yourself first. Always put yourself first, particularly with your health. I mean, maybe okay, maybe not if you're if you're making dinner and your kids are starving, put your kids first. But but otherwise, we have to take care of ourselves because no one here's the thing, and it sounds so obvious, but when I really let this sink in, I stepped up so much more for myself, which was that no one will ever take care of me the way I can take care of me. Ever, 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 ever. No one can ever love me the way I can love me. And that's even harder. That's
Yeah,
the harder one. I'm still
absolutely.
working through that. I mean, it's like that's like levels and layers and layers and layers. But I shared this a few weeks ago, but I just want to share it again that I spent a few years looking in the mirror and just touching my face and going, I love you. I love you.
Wow.
I love you. I love you so much. And I'm going to take care of you no matter what. And oh my gosh, the first months of that were just excruciating. And I wanted to throw up because it was so hard to love myself.
Wow.
But that was one of the ways I really started bringing that in. And the more we love ourselves, the more we can set those boundaries, like you're illustrating, and say, you know what, that's not healthy for me. And so I'm going to do something else and I'm going to have a good time. And I remember having dinner. You're talking about this shame. And I remember having dinner at a fancy restaurant with a physician friend of mine and his wife. And, but he was a surgeon, orthopedic surgeon. And so he it wasn't in this chronic illness world. He was doing shoulder replacements and knee replacements, but really cool guy. We had great conversations. And then it came time to order. And I was like, oh yeah, he doesn't have any clue how sensitive this is back when I was super sensitive. I couldn't do FODMAPs, lectins, histamines,
Oh, wow.
oxalates, and we're at this super fancy restaurant. It's like a gourmet place, where they bring these little plates of nothing. And I had to write down for them, like, okay, these are the things on one. I always carried sticky notes, and I put on one of them, cannot have. And it was like onions, garlic, tomatoes,
All the
chocolate, all the things. And then here's what I see on your menu I can have. And I had like 6 things written down. Could you please make me something with these ingredients?
wow.
And they did, but I just felt like I felt, embarrassed. I felt really embarrassed. And then afterwards, I'm like, paying attention to their response, and they didn't care. They just like didn't pay attention. Like, okay, was yours good? Good. All right. And
Right.
you know, that was it. So I made it worse than it was. Well, hopefully that gives some people some ideas. And we got some wonderful feedback here. I want to share. So whoops, this is Cam was putting up for us. There is a blog post. If you don't, you could take a screenshot of that. But the way to find that is you go to our website and you just search parties or holidays, and it'll come up in the list. There's so many blogs, you know, and that's a long URL. But just search for parties or holidays. You can find that blog post. I put a lot of tips in there for you guys. But I love these tips too. So let's get this one from Susan. Bringing my own foods worked for me for years. Always bring something I can eat to contribute to the buffet. Try to remember to take fresh air breaks during the gatherings to get away from the perfumes. That's a great tip, Susan.
That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really good. And I do that too. Now I won't go if there's mold. I've just, you know, I'll go in and be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I can't stay, but here's your here's your side dish. Love you guys."
Exactly. Oh,
Um, Jane said, "I've learned to simply bring my own plate. Simple, practical, no judgment. It is what it is." Nice, Jane.
yes, that's good.
Deborah, "I bring my own food. I'm not as reactive as Christina. My family doesn't change their menus. It's okay. I don't crave those foods, thankfully. Sometimes I don't intend. Friends are more understanding." Nice, nice, Deborah.
I
This
would
is
agree with
such
that.
an evolution because the first year that I talked about this, a
Yeah.
lot of people had no idea what to do and were just frozen. So there's so much that's changed for our community here, which is I'm very happy about. I just
Well,
think uh-huh.
I would imagine, Beth, for some people, this may also be the first year where the whole family is getting together.
In
Maybe
a
six
while, yeah, that's true. I hadn't thought about that.
months. For so many holidays, we might have just been in our core family unit, which was very safe, right? Or maybe
Yeah.
just one other family or a group of friends. So this may be a new experience for some people. It's been a while, you know,
Yeah.
where we've been in our like safe food and
Yeah.
allergy mold free bubble. You know, we're stepping
That's
out of
how
the
I've
way.
been. It was just me and my partner and just the two of us at home. Well,
Right.
Belinda here says she also just brings her own food, but the grief of not being able to eat with others. I know, Belinda, it's like there's really something bonding about sharing food. It's very bonding for us. And I think that's why it's so nice to bring like a side dish that we can share. Um, and Belinda says, I think that I used to work in restaurants and food was my life and wine, and I lived in Italy. Oh, I know the food and holidays, so much grief. I'm maybe not as embedded as you were, Belinda, but I'm quite a foodie. And after college, I was very close. I was submitting for to some of the local papers. I wanted to do a food review, a restaurant review, because I loved going to all the higher end restaurants and just sampling the flavors. I love flavors and variety. And I was gonna include a bathroom review because it's the worst when you have a delicious meal and you go in, the bathroom's just nasty and disgusting, and then you gotta come back and eat more, like, ugh.
Right.
So I was gonna rank the bathroom as part of the review. And I had so much grief, Belinda. Oh my gosh, so much grief when I got down to 10 foods. And then what I did, I actually read there was a histamine blog post years and years ago. It was not Yasmina's, it was someone else's, and it was she wrote about, I wish I could remember who she was. She wrote about that she had so much grief around loss of food when she had histamine intolerance that her therapist gave her the assignment to develop her own recipes and make a website for them. And she did. And if anybody knows this, who I'm talking about, she has a recipe for a no tomato sauce with carrots. And I had high oxalates, had beets and stuff, but she had stuff like that on there.
Okay.
And, it really inspired me, and that was what inspired me to start making new flavors and figuring out how to cook for food intolerances and how to just jazz it up, and that's where the recipes for the website were born out of, and I was really inspired by that woman's blog. And Belinda, I don't know if you've seen our recipes. They may not be the level you're used to in Italy and all of that, but we do try to put out really delicious recipes for all kinds of food intolerances. So maybe that'll bring you a little joy this holiday season. And we have a lot of holiday recipes, you guys.
Mhm.
So check that out on the blog. We've got some holiday recipe roundups out there for you and
And
things like that. And
we've
so,
got one dropping this week too, having to do with bacon. Who loves
oh
bacon?
yeah, yeah, yeah. We have that was one of my early recipes is a uncured pork belly, low histamine bacon.
Yep.
And if you eat bacon or you eat pork, that's a wonderful thing to make and then make into bacon bits and put on a salad or on greens. So always think about how can you jazz your holiday food up just a little bit. I would even do things like when I was so limited, I might be able, for example, one of the foods I was able to still eat was carrots when I was at my most limited. And so instead of just steaming another batch of carrots, which is what I was eating all the time, I ended up making a puree, and I could have carrots, and I was still able to have a little stevia. And so I made a carrot pudding just by pureeing steamed carrots, a couple drops of stevia, and then what else could I use at that time? I found something to put a garnish on top. I remember I could have apples. So what I might have done is I might have minced apples really tiny and just put it like a garnish on top.
Oh,
So it was special, it was different than what I was having on a daily basis. So think about that, you guys. Sometimes I've done carrots like that and put a little sprinkle of cardamom if you're okay with carrots or whatever it is. If you have serious salicylate intolerance, and you're just having to eat cabbage, like roast the cabbage or caramelize the cabbage or however you want to do it, make it tasty. And then if you can do pecans, put a little chopped pecans on top and you could add some chopped pecans and a little pomegranate arils. Like that might be nice. Or the other things I was thinking, if you're totally low salicylate, is make caramelized cabbage and apples. Like think outside the box. So what I would do is I would take my safe foods list and I start to think about what kind of food combos would work. Oh, cabbage and apples work. What about cabbage with bacon bits? With your low histamine bacon, and you can make that ahead of time and freeze that bacon. So check that recipe out, you guys. Let's get these other comments up here, and then let's talk about Christmas, Christina,
yeah.
and other holidays. And Christmas is probably the most commonly celebrated, but we've got the Jewish holidays coming up. We've got Kwanzaa coming up. We've
Right.
got New Year's Eve coming up. And we
Right.
have a lot of times coming up where people exchange gifts. Um, I want to get through the last of these Thanksgiving ones here, which Frances always brings her own food, too many rough experiences.
Mm.
Taylor says, I let people know ahead of time about my multiple chemical sensitivities and what they can do to help before I come, like open windows, air purifier. That's great, Taylor.
Well
One of the
done.
things that I ask people to do is unplug their Glade plugins, those fragrance plugins in the wall. And I
Okay. Yeah.
say, would it be possible not to do any scented candles? And if people come to my home, I just tell them, please don't wear any fragrance. And that includes scented lotions like Bath and Body Works. And I have to say Bath and Body Works. And then people get it. Because when I said no scented lotions, they'd be like, oh, it's just my, vanilla
Vanilla
pomegranate stuff from Bath and Body Works. It's not a scented lotion. And look, that's a scented lotion. That's fragrance.
lotion.
I
Right.
can hug you. Ah. Um, And then Catherine said, I bring my own food, provide some side dishes to share, although I get my portions first to avoid cross contamination. Great tip, Catherine.
Oh,
Yes,
so good.
especially if you're gluten intolerant or you have those nut allergies or things like that. That is a great tip.
Yes, absolutely.
And
I love,
Francis says, oh, sorry, let me do this one real quick. When I'm
yeah.
visiting my family in Canada, I buy and make all the food. They love it, and I get to introduce them to healthy food that tastes good. Oh my gosh, what a treat for them, Francis. And maybe for you, if you like cooking, what a lovely treat. And I think that's your mom. That's a sweet, sweet photo, Francis.
That's so
What were you
good.
gonna say, Kristen?
I was going to say that Frances's comment makes me actually think about one of my dear friends, Amy Wicks. Her family has some different food intolerances, one of which is like gluten, and I'm gluten free. And so when I went to visit her family last year, it was the most amazing feeling to be in a gluten free household. Like the
Mm,
appliances were safe. I knew that if she said, I want to make you breakfast this morning, I didn't have to like think about it all.
yeah.
And it
Are
just
you
made
a celiac?
I'm not a
That's
diagnosed
so
celiac,
okay.
but
I'm not diagnosed with celiac either, but it's pretty severe when I get gluten. Yeah.
I feel like I kind of have the flu if I get
Yeah.
exposed. I've been gluten-free for 7 years since I came back from living in South Africa and just had some issues with American food when I came back
Mm.
digesting. You and I
Mhm.
can have a whole fun conversation about that one day.
Yeah.
I think with Amy, it was the most amazing thing for her to welcome me into her home, knowing my food sensitivities and providing me with that wonderful opportunity. So if you are someone that maybe has MCAS or other food sensitivities and you maybe know someone in the community, I mean, that's the beauty of this community, right? Invite someone into your household and welcome that opportunity to serve them and host
Mhm.
them and give them a safe place to dine for a holiday or a gathering this
Yeah.
season. It's a
No,
unique
God.
activity.
Some of the best holidays I had a friend that lived here that, about, I don't know, maybe 6 or 8 years into the most intense part of my illness, she was also ill, and we became really close friends before she moved out of the area because she was just there's so much outside mold she was allergic to.
Yeah.
But, we would have dinners together. And because we were both so food sensitive, it was just really nice, and it wasn't even like we had that many options. It was like, "Okay, what are we gonna have? Steamed carrots, some squash, and some chicken." And but to share it with somebody was
So
nice.
good.
And then what I started doing, during the pandemic was I would have a meal with a friend on Zoom. And we would have our plates and we would eat dinner together. And I, show like, "Hey, this is what I'm eating. What are you eating?" We pretend like, "Hey, you want a bite of this?" And it was just fun. So maybe think about that too. And I know we've got some people in our community that spend the holidays alone. And that's always come up. So if that's you, you might reach out to this community. We had on the last Facebook, I have a lot of people saying, "Hey, reach out to me if you want somebody to talk to." So go back to that other Facebook Live and find those comments and
Yeah.
see who you connect with. And if the first person you reach out to is not a match, just know, not everybody's a match. Just try again, find somebody else and see if you can find somebody to connect with. And that makes a huge difference when we're not so alone in these things and you can encourage each other. We got this last one from Belinda, and then we're going to talk about gifting. So Belinda's eating GAPS food now. That's amazing, Belinda. So you must be really past histamine intolerance, or you didn't have it. So I'm really happy for you that you can eat that way. I love what I get to eat, so at least I have more to eat nowadays than like 2 years ago. Good, good, good. And
That's
it
huge.
just keeps coming back, Belinda. I don't know if you were on the last one when I was talking about how sensitive I had been and down to the 10 foods. And it took years, but I've recovered from histamine intolerance, lectin intolerance, salicylate intolerance, FODMAP intolerance, gluten intolerance, or not gluten intolerance, glutamate intolerance, oxalate issues. I'm not fully out of. I got to watch my levels a little, but I can have carrots and I can have hazelnuts and things like that as long as I don't have them all the same day. And I space the oxalates out. And so I really bounced back, Belinda, and anybody with food sensitivity. So I just now avoid peanuts and wheat. I'm even if it's the corn that's been prepared with lime, which helps reduce the lectins some, makes it more digestible. I'm eating corn too. Like, what? I haven't had corn in years. I haven't had so many things in years, and it does come back as we heal. And I think if I knew now what I if I knew then what I knew now, I would, I would have healed so much faster.
Yeah,
So, let's talk about gifts. So you guys, have you ever gotten a gift for a holiday or a birthday that just made you feel ill and then had to deal with it? I'm just curious if that's happened with anybody and if anybody has, a little story you wanna share in the comments or if you have, a tip for us. So, I have a little story around this, Christina. Have you ever had a gift that made you feel sick?
Oh gosh. I have. I mean, I definitely think I do react to certain things. I'm more sensitive to it. I definitely have someone given me nuts before. I will say, so growing up, my family actually told me I was allergic to chocolate, but
Oh, no. That's mean if it's not true.
Well, I think it was because chocolate was so close to nuts and it was so severe.
Oh, so they really thought you were gonna be allergic.
Yes,
Oh, wow. I thought
exactly.
they were telling you just so you wouldn't eat it.
Well, I never had it as a kid, so I
Oh,
think I
yeah.
made it to my, like, late 20s before I ever had chocolate, which I know everyone gasp. As a woman, I didn't have chocolate, but I feel like
That
every
in itself an
Valentine's Day.
unusual upbringing.
Right, and every Halloween and, like, things like that, I would just never get people would gift me common gifts, but I couldn't have them. So I would say it's not so much that I got it and got sick, but I would get it and have to like reject the gift, which always I would be sad because I'd be like, I can't have it. And then they feel sad. And then it's like a mutual,
Right.
like, just I feel bad you spent money. I'll gift it to someone else. Like you can take it home. So I would say that's probably the biggest thing that's ever like maybe made me close to sick. But some of those things could have really huge impact on my health.
They can. Yeah, you can't take those risks. I love this for Kimberly. Gosh, you're a trooper, Kimberly. Scented socks from my boyfriend's mom. Scented socks? I had to leave them in the garage to air out for months and wash them several times before I could wear them. You must really love his mom or
Yeah,
something.
I
Those
was
would have
thinking,
gone in a Ziploc bag and then in the Goodwill pile
yes,
outside.
exactly. I,
And I know.
I'm like, Kimberly, were the socks somehow like, then did you parade them in front of her at some point in time and be like, look, I'm wearing the socks?
That's some dedication to those socks.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's a funny story. Susan says perfume. Oh, wait, I'll come back, Susan. She said they were very fuzzy and comfy looking. And
Oh,
Susan here says perfume gifts are the worst. If I can't tolerate a food, I pass on it or save it to serve to someone who can eat it. I know perfume gifts aren't they? I
they are.
so I had there's a perfume gift story I share on that blog post. Oh, and I wanted to pop this up while we're talking too. So if you guys want to grab a screenshot of that, search for holiday meal ideas on the blog and you'll get that holiday meal roundup. So recipe ideas for you all. And you can find that also in the comments. If you just scroll down the comments where Cam posted that, you can just click right through. And then Cam also put up the video from the last time where you can go into the comments. So if you want to find that comment, click through that, and then that will that'll take you to where you can find people who were saying, "Hey, reach out to me if you're needing somebody to talk to, or you needing to make some friends." And oh, let's see, Claire. Claire says, "Yes, anything fragrance or food. I make an Amazon wish list so family don't struggle." Yeah, that's where we're going. And I don't get anything I can't use. I have in the past got things from friends that I can't use. If it's clothes, it goes into one of the rooms in our house where I put new things to defume, like that defume.
Wow.
Oh, Susan said people giving me cosmetics, perfume, incense. There are people I'm close to. I tell them, if not, I regift it. Yeah, I've done a lot of regifting.
I I will say for our family in particular,
Yeah,
we
nail
I don't know
polish.
about you, but like we joke with my brother. He is not allowed to buy anything, but like we basically are like stop buying things October through December because he'll buy everything on his wish list every year and then
Oh, yeah.
gifts are like for naught. But
Uh-huh.
for me, I will actually write a gift list. I don't know,
Yeah.
do you do that? Like
Yeah,
we'll
yeah. That's
these are
what
some of the items like I desire for
exactly.
this season, just so that way it takes kind of the stress out of gift giving in our family at least. And we
Yeah.
love gift giving.
Yeah. That's
It's one of those things that I found that to be one of the best way I can help someone love me is by telling them the best way.
yeah,
Like
I love that. Well,
communicating a way that if like I said to a friend the other day, like, hey, instead of purchasing this, like I love stationery. I love
mhm.
things like you can find something non-food to gift me if that would be helpful, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah, exactly.
always
That's
gotten responses.
that's where I wanted to come to. So I here's a little different story than what I share on the blog post, which is that so my partner one year, um, brought me back. I'd been out of town for a bit, and they came back and gave me 2 little tubs of Bath& and Body Works lotion, like that, like, thick cream stuff, but, like, that's the worst for me
Body
because
butter.
oh
Yeah.
my god. I can do essential oils all day, but that especially there's, like, something really toxic in those products, and so I opened them, I was like, "Oh, thank you," and it was before I felt really solid and being like, "I can't use this." But also I had experiences in the past too of just telling people and then they quit gifting anything. So I was like,
Oh,
"I gotta do this a little differently." So the first thing, because I was just embarrassed and we weren't at that stage where I felt like I could share all of this, Susan said, "Oh god, the Bath& and Body Works." No. And
right.
so, what I did was I took the little tubs, I wiped out holding my breath, I put gloves on, I wiped all the stuff out, washed it really, really well with soap, and I put other lotion in it. It was
No.
still sitting there, I could use it because that's how embarrassed I felt. This was a long time ago. And
Well,
so then I sat with that and I thought, "You know what?" Like, over a couple weeks, it's like, I'm probably gonna get more Bath& and Body Works if I don't say something.
yes, exactly.
And this is not gonna be great for this relationship. So what I did was I made a list like you're talking about. I did an Amazon list, but I also made a separate list and I sent it in an email. And
Oh,
I said, "You know what? I wasn't entirely upfront when you gave me those." And I said, "And I'm really sorry. I just felt embarrassed. I didn't know what to say. I was grateful you got me something and you thought of me and that touched me and I didn't want it to feel like I didn't appreciate what you did. But I have to let you know I'm really, really allergic to fragrance. Like it makes me feel like I'm gonna pass out. And it would really help me if you could get me things I could use." And I think you would probably enjoy that too. And so I said, "Can I give you a list?" And I was like, "Oh, thank God." Yeah,
right,
please.
exactly.
Then so I was afraid, like, this was gonna feel controlling or what, but it actually really helped. And then the, experience I share in the blog, I won't share the whole story because it's in there and everybody can read it, but, it was a friend who gave me something scented but we were really close, and when she saw my disappointment, she was so upset. And I really tried I wasn't disappointed, I wasn't disappointed that with her, I was disappointed I couldn't enjoy her gift,
Right.
and I felt so sad.
Yeah.
And, um and she knew me well enough, and she was sensitive and like, I can, hide it for a little while, but she knew, she could feel everything, and then she was upset. 'Cause she hadn't known that it was gonna trigger me, and she really loved me and really wanted to do something nice for me. And
Yeah.
so I said, "Well, I keep this list of things I really love. Could I share it with you?" And she said, "Absolutely." And I was like, "This is a friend I wanna keep. This is the kind of friend I want. This is who's family to me."
Yeah.
And so, think about that too, you guys, because when we have these experiences, I know for me, for a long time, I felt so injured. If I gave somebody the compassion and love that I could and the understanding for their experiences,
Yeah.
and then I couldn't receive it, they couldn't give it, back to me for my health experiences.
Sure.
Then what I learned about that is that's just an imbalanced relationship, and it's a good clue that it's time to move on. And there are lots of loving people when we open ourselves up to receive that love, and we are loving, but it also means we have to say no to a lot of things that just aren't a fit.
That's good.
So, here's one of the things we did for you guys, and I just wanna go over this briefly, and if there's any questions about any of this, pop them in the chat for us. It's a little quiet today, so I can pick up more, questions than usual. But, we made this gift guide for you all, and you can share it with people. I'll pop up where you can get it, but this is just really beautiful. I wanted to share this. Christine actually put this together for us, and so what she put together here is there's all kinds of stuff in here, all for any kind of sensitivity. So there's food things, there's beauty things. Even if you have salicylate intolerance, there's options in here. And so you might get some ideas for yourself, but you might also just share that with your, with your family. And so we've got some food gifts ideas for Belinda. I don't know if you know about this low histamine wine, but it's delicious and amazing. And there's a real, you can do a subscription or single bottles or anything like that. So that link is in there. Um, the low histamine coffee, the purity coffee, is always a wonderful gift for coffee lovers, and decaf coffee is low salicylate, you guys. Um,
I'm putting that on my list, Beth. The coffee.
yeah. That coffee, it's
I've
good.
been
I like it. I really think it's a wonderful taste. And I've been quite a coffee snob. Like I was let's go to the coffee shop and get the $10 thing of coffee so I can taste what that tastes like.
right.
Just because I love flavor. I love flavor. And it's just a way to be fully present and experience the world. So even if there was like an apple, and a slice of apple, just like a slice of a really fresh apple you crunch into, that's a wonderful gift to me. It's just like, here's the most perfect organic apple I could find. To me, that would just be like, oh my gosh, that's a wonderful gift. But we have all kinds of other stuff in here. So they have, Kelsey says their wine that I prefer. So I really loved all the wines from this company. So if you get the gift guide, Kelsey, you can click in there. Particularly, I love rosés. That's kind of my favorite. I like Chardonnays and things like that. But I really only do these dry farm wines. They're organic, they're biodynamic farm, it's regenerative farming, so they're restoring the land instead of stripping it. And it's because it's dry farmed, low mold, and all of that. So I would check that out. But if those things aren't your thing, there's like food gift ideas. There's the low histamine meats. We don't think about giving meat, but what about a nice steak? I mean, people think about giving a steak. Well, what if you love steak and you've not had a steak in years? They have unaged beef, they have unaged bison and things like that. That might be like a little notch above what you would normally do, but it could be that, like, that's special rather than giving to here's your chicken. Like, well, what about a New York strip, or what about a filet? And that would be a nice gift. And then you could have it, if you order it a little ahead of time, you could have that for New Year's Eve. So that's an idea. I've done that a couple times. You can get a gift card. Then, if you don't want to do the food thing, there's some skincare ideas. I absolutely love Anne Marie Gianni's line of stuff. That's me with their exfoliant. And I can't normally do exfoliants because my skin's so sensitive. They have an herb based exfoliant. It's dry, it's dried herbs like shave grass. And then you mix it with just a little bit of their herbal oil, and they have an unscented one, and then you just rub it on, and it's super gentle exfoliant. So that's how I couldn't exfoliate for years until I found that product from
Oh,
them. So they have just really nice stuff. A lot of their stuff it's all essential oils, it's all non-toxic. A lot of it's heavy scented. And so what we have listed there is the lightest scents, and some of them are unscented. There's a dry shampoo, which is nice if you have trouble washing your hair every day, like I did for years. Washing my hair was such an ordeal. I was washing about twice a month because I didn't have the strength to hold my hands up to wash my hair and then
mhm.
to dry off. So if I washed my hair, I had to wrap myself in terry cloth, lie on the floor for 20, 30 minutes. Then I could try to towel dry my hair. And then I'd have to lie down for another hour before I could blow dry. The dry shampoo was one of the biggest savers for me because my hair would get heavy and greasy. And then what you do is you take that dry shampoo in your hands, you just massage it in, and just take it absorbs some of the oils, gives you a little more volume. And it works for men too if you have hair. Um, and then there's other things like the unscented body butter by Primal Life. If you have salicylate intolerance, this emu oil moisturizer is, I mean, the bomb. Like, that stuff is like silky. Like, it makes
Really?
my skin silky. Hi, Olivia. Olivia is asking healthy makeup ideas. Yes. So both Anne-Marie Gianni has some makeup. Primal Life Organics has some makeup. We also have linked on our website 100% Pure. That's my favorite makeup company. And the other thing I use, what I have on my eyes, I don't know if you can see it, Christina. Let me see if I get a little close to the camera. Can you see my eyeshadow? I'm like really close here.
A little bit today, yes.
A little bit. This is a mineral. It's just mineral eyeshadow, and it's ground up minerals. It's like mica and things like that that are non-toxic. But what I love about it, it's a little sparkly. So it's light enough for daytime, but it just I don't know. I have fun with makeup, and it just feels a little, like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm a princess today or something. So
It
the mineral.
you were glowing earlier, so maybe that's what
Oh,
I'm picking up on. So
So Primal Life Organics, I believe, has some mineral makeup, 100% pure. And the affiliate links, you guys, Cam's dropping these in. If you're going to get some, there's no pressure, but I just found people really love to know. If you click through our links, and you can, that's too long to type out. You can click it in the comments or grab the screenshot to come back to grab it in the comments. But if you click through our links, the companies always give us back a small percentage. And we're super circumspect. The only things we recommend are things that we've tried in the clinic. I use personally. I buy all this stuff and use it to make sure that it's working, that it's safe, that it is what they say it is. Even like all the air filters, I bought all those air filters that we recommend, all the different models, and tested them all out. So it just helps us keep putting out our free resources, keep doing product testing and things like that. Because we are really, really careful about anything we recommend. And I can't promise everything would work for you. You got to go in and discern based on your needs and sensitivities. But it does help us if you click through our link, and it doesn't cost you anything more. And check our website, you guys, because we have tons of coupon codes out there for all kinds of stuff.
you sure do.
So always check our website. If you're going to buy something, use a coupon code, get a discount on it, please. But I love these two essential oil companies, Rocky Mountain Oils and Vibrant Blue Oils. If you like essential oils, those are wonderful gifts, especially this histamine balance. People really like this, and I really like it too. And I always keep their oil sitting here on my desk. So I have like Uplift. This is a Vibrant Blue Oil. I'll just grab these while I'm sitting at my desk sometimes and just put it in. Here's the histamine balance. It smells really good.
Okay.
So think about that, you all. I've also got some of the, always keep the Rocky Mountain oils. The parasympathetic's nice. It does have clove. So if your skin's really sensitive, or if you have salicylate intolerance, you don't want to put it on your skin. But to diffuse that, or you can just open the bottles and just, it's nice. This
So
is
good.
lime and clove. And then here's one of the Rocky Mountain ones. This is lemon. And this just, when I'm feeling kind of in a slump, I just like, lemon's really uplifting. And essential oils work directly on the limbic system. So it's a wonderful way to calm the nervous system. Oh, Susan said, Peggy, a lot of people like the Vibrant Blue Oils. Susan said she just got the histamine, haven't used it yet. Let us know what you think, Susan. I'd love to hear once you get to try it. And Susan said Norwex products. We do have some Norwex products linked. Those are nice. Tiffany, how safe are essential oils? Let's get Cam to get you the blog post we have. They're very safe for inhalation. That's the absolute safest. If you're going to use them on your skin, you want to know a little bit about what you're doing. Some like chamomile and frankincense are super gentle. But you don't want to load a ton on your skin because you will absorb it and your body's got to process it. So for sensitive people, I don't recommend much on the skin, or really dilute it, like a drop in a whole tablespoon of a carrier oil. So you dilute it down and build up so you can see what your body likes. Internal, I don't recommend that this community use internal essential oils at all, unless you're working with a practitioner who's really highly trained in them. Essential oils are very potent, and that's where you get into the toxicity, is the internal use. You got to really know what you're doing if you're using those internally. And some of them are very, very strong, like the oregano that's used in a lot of antifungal protocols and things like that. So, but inhalation's what most people do. You can have a diffuser, like I've got this nice, if you get a diffuser, can you see that, Christina? I mean, it's
Really
too far away. Let me see. It's running right now and it's plugged in. Let me see if I get this off here. You can kind of see it. We have this linked in the essential oil post. This is an ultrasonic. And so there's no water. Water in the essential oil diffusers, those water ones tend to grow mold. Ugh. And I had a mistake of a water one. I forgot, left it water in it over the weekend, came back into my office, not here, different where I had a physical office, a brick and mortar. And I turned it on and a puff of black came out and I opened it up and it was full of mold. Now, maybe I let it set longer than the weekend and I forgot, but I just was like, ugh, no more water diffusers, just the ultrasonic. So they make some different designs, but this is like really pretty too.
Okay.
And that's the really safe way, Tiffany. And that's how you can get it. So remember the olfactory nerve in the nose, that's the scent nerve, goes straight into the limbic system. And so there's tons of studies, especially out of France, but tons and tons. I mean, we're talking thousands and thousands of studies on essential oils and the impacts on the limbic system. So if you like essential oils, that's a great thing. Okay.
Well, and Beth, I wanted to mention too, along with this being, of course, a holiday guide, I think, I don't know about you, but for me, sometimes I do I save like a little slush fund for self-care shopping around Friday, Cyber Monday promotions. And so, like, for me, there's like some of the oils or something I've been looking at, and they've been talking about some incredible Black Friday promotions coming up.
Yeah.
So, with that on the horizon, just I wanted to mention that, like, of course,
Yeah.
you know, we know you're going to gift your loved ones around this holiday season, but if there is an opportunity for you to gift yourself at all and get that thing that you really desire to help you, and you have a little budget to maybe splurge, I think this is a great chance to kind of bookmark the items on your list and keep an eye out with promotions over the next couple of weeks.
That's what I do. And I stock up, Christina. I watch those Black Friday sales. So we do send out an email where Christina's going to consolidate the best sales for you guys.
Yes, I will.
So that you can shortcut. You don't have to go find all those individual emails. So watch your email from us. Do you know when that comes out, Christina? So people can
I think that's something you have go out probably the 21st or 22nd.
Okay. So just next week, you guys, that'll be, because we'll be off next week, I believe. Do we have Facebook Live next week?
That's on our agenda to talk about today.
Okay. So we'll figure that out today. But Monday or Tuesday, check your inbox. You'll see all the Black Friday sales. This is when I buy my Primal Life Organics. This is when I get my essential oils. I usually stock up on things like my toothpaste. I stock up on that. I love that unscented body butter because it coats my hands in the winter. And that's the biggest moisturizer that I use, or the emu oil. And so anytime there's a Black Friday sale, if I've got the budget for it, I'll buy 2 or 3. So it'll last me a good 3 to 6 months. And then that, overall, it's a good investment. It costs you a lot less. And one of the ways I was taught to think about this, was taught from a financial person, was, okay, in your absolute best investing, you're probably going to make 7 to 10% in the stock market. So if there's something you absolutely know you're going to use and it's 20% off, that's a 20% return. And so that's a really good investment if you know you're going to use it. Now, don't buy stuff that you're not going to use. I've made that mistake before. Got it. And then I was like, changed my mind. I don't like this so much. So if you've not used it before, just get one. But like that body butter, I love it. So I'm going to stock up again come Black Friday. So think about that, you all. Tiffany, if you just scroll up, you'll see the essential oil link again. And let me pop this up here. You can download this guide. So just go right there, mastcell360.com/gifts, and you're going to get all these links. And then if you guys if you want to purchase through those links, again, we get a small percentage back. It doesn't cost you anything more, but that helps us keep doing our product testing and keep putting out all these free Facebook Lives and blog posts and stuff for you guys. Few other questions that are coming in here. Let me do the rest of these slides real quick, and I'm going to wrap us up with these questions. So other things, if you've had the Brain Tap or the Primal Trust on your list for a while, make sure to tell, whoever's going to buy things a gift for you, like, I would really love this.
Yeah.
And make sure you give them the coupon codes. And that way, then there's a little more budget to get something else. There is a kids cooking course that's just kind of fun. And then there's the quick list. This is the guide. So if you download that, you're going to get all those links and the coupon codes and things like that. So that's the link right there. If you want to take a screenshot, if you can't go download it right now, you can just take a screenshot with your phone or on your laptop. And let's wrap out with these questions here and comments. Caitlin said she loves the parasympathetic and the fascia. The fascia one's really nice too, especially for massage. Really, really nice. And or if you do just your own, like, gentle, just rub it in, or you can mix it in a carrier and just do some gentle self massage is wonderful. It's very calming. Frances loves the vibrant blue sleep essential oil is really good, she says. And it is good. And then they have a circadian rhythm one, which is wonderful for this time of year when there's a time change.
Oh, yeah.
Um, this one helps reset your circadian rhythm, and it smells really lovely. It has rose, geranium, grapefruit, um, a little melaleuca. It's got myrtle, lavender, balsam of Peru, and myrrh. And it's already in some coconut oil, fractionated coconut oil. So you don't have to worry about diluting it because it's got that geranium. You don't want to put geranium undiluted on your skin. So that's the other thing I love about Vibrant Blue Oils is she thinks about all of that and how people are going to use it. And then I don't know if you guys know, we did a whole Facebook Live with her. So if you're interested in this company, you might want to check them out. But they put everything in dark bottles, so you can kind of tell. And then everything, for those of you who are really energetically sensitive, they actually run the oils over some kind of crystals. There's a different energetic in these. They're just, I think they're really special. And then for singles, Rocky Mountain Oils is my go-to. They have great quality, great prices. So I know that's a lot on essential oils, but we had a lot of questions, so I wanted to share that. Sally says, not used makeup in years, don't like stuff on my skin. Yeah, that may be a skin kind of like a sensory thing, Sally. Might be related to your nervous system. I can't wear foundation. I just can't stand that. I like eye makeup and I can do a little lipstick, but if I've got something thick sitting here, bleh, it doesn't feel good to me. But that makes sense. Okay, Tiffany was asking, can essential oils be problematic for people with environmental sensitivities? Sometimes, like the tree ones I see, but you could stay away from those. Like you could look at things that are more citrus based. If you're okay with smelling a lemon or an orange, you may be fine with a lemon essential oil. So think about what you do tolerate if you want to try them, and maybe just get one and check it out, see how you do. But think about what would give you the most likely to be successful for you.
That's good.
Okay, let's see. I think I got a couple other things. Susan ordered fragrance hair misting spray from Chanel. Woo! Their fragrance don't irritate you. Okay, good tip. I haven't tried it, so I don't know how they are. The one thing to remember about fragrance, though, you guys, be really careful with it if you do tolerate it, because it is an immune disruptor. It's a hormone disruptor, and there's a lot of carcinogens in those fragrances. But maybe, Susan, they're using essential oils.
Right.
Who knows?
Just avoid that whole fragrance section of every store in the mall this time of year. Just walk around.
Sally shares she does Jarfa body butter. Olivia can't tolerate essential oils. Wish they were not added to things. Yeah, and we do have unscented options on here because you're right, Olivia. So if you need a cleaner, my favorite cleaner is from Hypo Air, and you can find it on our website. It's called Hypo Clean. We've got a coupon code. If you use Mast Cell 360, not all, some of the companies make up our code, but we try to make it Mast Cell 360 when we get an option. And that has no fragrance. It's that's almost scent free. You get the tiniest hint of iodine, which is part of what is in there. But it's super non-toxic, but effective. It's really effective. And I love that cleaner. It's called Hypo Clean. Okay. And then Tiffany, oh, for the article. Yeah, just go search essential oils and you're going to find it. Absolutely. Okay. Well, I think we got through all the questions, you guys. I'm so glad you were with us. It was good to be here. Christina, thank you for joining us on the spot last minute and sharing your story and dialoguing with us. It was just really nice to have you.
Always honored to share. And I would love to ask you, Beth, in this holiday season, if you had to get the ultimate gift for yourself. I think a lot of us are about to go buy host gifts to say thank you to different people. What would be that thing that you're like, oh, this would just delight
Oh
my
my gosh.
to receive this year?
Gosh, one that's hard for me to answer just because I don't think about those things for myself too much, but, um, out of the things we went over, that's a good question too. I tell you where my mind went straight to was that Anne Marie Gianni is just like luxury for me,
I love
and, just to have a product like that, I grew up getting stuff it was a splurge for me to get a bath product at Walgreens and at the drugstore and to have like that $2 St. Ives or whatever stuff, you know? And so to have something like super non-toxic, that's luxurious, that feels good to my skin, and I can feel it making a difference. I tell you what, one of my favorite things from them is their coconut honey mask. 'Cause
Mhm.
it's coconut oil and honey, and I think that's all that's in there. And when we had them on the Facebook Live, because it's all food grade, I took a little spoon and just ate it, and
Really?
it was decadent.
Oh,
And so, and there's some way that they mix it that's different than what I can make at home. I don't know
mm,
how they actually combine it. And so you just put it on your skin, let it sit there, and let it soak in. It's very moisturizing, but honey is super antibacterial as well, so it's cleansing for your skin, and then when I rinse it off, my skin just feels so soft.
love
So
it.
that those kinds of things are what comes up for me. What about you?
Oh gosh, for me, and it's funny. I actually gifted this to myself the other day. There's a particular brand of gluten-free bread that I'm obsessed
Okay.
with, and
What
I bought
brand is it?
myself like a 4-pack. I think it's called Daily Grains, and
Uh-huh.
it's like a sourdough, but it tastes like, it sounds silly to say it, but like real bread. And
Yeah.
it makes me so happy to toast it. And there is a brand of honey that, it's interesting you mentioned honey, that I'm obsessed with, out of Tennessee, down the road from a friend's farm. It's
Uh-huh.
called Bee Honey. It's like the go-to like honey. If you're, for example, like when I'll fly and travel the United States, I'll stop at the Nashville airport so I can get more of it. That's how. And they do whipped honey, like a whipped honey. It's the most
Oh, nice, nice.
divine thing,
That
and
sounds delicious.
those are treats for me. So yeah.
Yeah, I love honey mixed with a little ghee.
Oh,
Um, so
100%.
talking about gluten-free bread, and then we'll wrap up here. For any of you on the West Coast or are okay with paying shipping on bread, there's a company called Arise Bakery, Arise, and they
Okay.
have, different kinds of gluten-free breads, but they have one that's called a white bread, but they're healthier kind of breads. And then they have an apricot, bread bowl, and I think that might have a pecans in it,
Oh, there's
Christina, but, they have a cinnamon raisin bagel. That's not exactly low histamine. So for those of you who are a little more into like the histamine intolerant diet level 3, that's a good one, or maybe you're going into level 2. Um, that's a good one. And, what else have I tried? Oh, they have rolls, they have, like sticks of bread. And so if you order them, you have to email them and say, "Hey, next time you run a batch, could I put in an order?" And then
oh,
they'll put it up online for you to pay for. They're a little shop. And so you have to coordinate with them, but I found them out in California. Neil Nathan actually told me about them and gave me a piece of toast at his house. And I was like, where did you get this?
Right. That's how it always
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. So I've been ordering that for over a year because that's the best gluten-free bread I've found too. So I'm going to try yours out. Well, thank you all for being here with us, for all the dialogue. I love it. It's wonderful to connect with you all. We may or may not be back next week. We usually take all of Thanksgiving week off. We will definitely be back after Thanksgiving. So for those of you not in the US, if you may know, our Thanksgiving is on November 23rd. And so we'll likely be off next week, but if we're on, it'll be a nice surprise. We'll definitely be back on the 28th. So November 28th, we'll be back, same bat time, same bat channel for those of you who are old enough to remember that. And we'll see you then. Be really good to yourselves. And if I don't see you next week and you're celebrating Thanksgiving next week, have a wonderful Thanksgiving and pamper yourself in some way, even if budget's tight. Slice an apple if you tolerate apples, or find something and just savor the flavor and listen to the birds and watch the sun across the sky, even if it's out through a window. Just find a way to savor this life because it's so precious. So precious. And thanks, Susan. I'm really glad this was supportive and helpful. And happy Thanksgiving, Sally. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. And so grateful for you guys. We'll see you soon. Take care.
Bye, everyone.